Welcome to Swords to Podcasts!
Happy holidays and welcome back to the Swords to Podcast. My name is Thomas.
And my name is Adam. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have made our lists and we have checked them twice. Each of us have 5 naughty cards and 5 nice cards. Naughty meaning we don't like to see them at tables. We don't think people should be playing them. We just don't like them generically. And nice meaning we like to play them. We mean they're underrated. We think more people should play them. So I think we'll go through each of our 5 naughty cards back and forth, and then we'll go through our 5 nice cards, and we'll open up to discussions on either end. What do you say, Thomas?
Yeah, let's get into it. What do you got for us first on your naughty list?
So my first selection for the naughty list of 2025 is an entire cycle of cards, and they are the diamonds. Now, I know you might not love this take, Thomas, because I think the diamonds are a little special to you, but I just do not like them. For those of us who don't know, the diamond cycle are 2 mana rocks that enter the battlefield tapped. There are 5 of them, and each one of them taps for 1 color of mana. I used to be really hot on these cards when I was building budget decks, and I still think they have a place in those types of budget decks. They're solid mana rocks, but just they enter tapped, and the more mana rocks we get, the better mana rocks we get in each color and in colorless and all that kind of stuff. I feel like these diamonds just have been power crept to the point where I don't think they're really playable in any bracket beyond 1. What do you think, Thomas?
Bro, where do you get off saying that they're special to me? Where does that even come from?
You used to like the diamonds, bro. I remember I gave you a box of bulk way back in the day, and you were like, "Dude, Adam, you missed all the diamonds. You didn't take any of the diamonds for yourself."
It had to have been something. There's no way. I don't think I've ever put a diamond into a deck.
This was at least a year or 2 ago.
Dude, now you're making it sound like I was playing them a year or 2 ago. This is not true, guys. He's spreading misinformation. I was not playing them. No, I don't disagree. I don't love stuff that enters tapped, even lands. I try and stay away from tapped lands, but like a tapped mana rock is honestly just even worse. It's like you're sinking mana into something you can't even use, and nevertheless, the fact that they cost 2 and only make 1, like they cost 2, enter tapped, only make 1 color of mana.
Mm-hmm.
That is just not efficient. That's not efficient in my book, and I don't hate putting them on the naughty list, dude. Those cards, if you're running those cards, you're naughty for running the diamonds. All right, you wanna see what I got first on my naughty list?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Now this isn't quite a cycle of card, but it's it's a certain type of card. I think we can all probably agree. But I had to choose the one above all that I think is the most naughty, and it's Austere Command. Now, I was thinking about going with Cyclonic Rift here, but that's just too easy. Here's what I have to say about Austere Command. If I'm not mistaken, it's like the number 9 most played card in white on EDA Trek. It has a 12% inclusion rate. So everyone is like, "Oh, I'm playing white. I need a board wipe. I need to put this card in my deck." First of all, I'm not a big fan of board wipes. I know sometimes you need them, but I think removal is just know what to remove. If stuff's getting out of hand, maybe you just didn't remove it quick enough. I don't know. There's certain board wipes that I don't have as much of a problem with. For example, Wave Goodbye I think is an amazing board wipe because you have to put like some work in, and it also helps you. But Austere Command just sucks. It's like I just hate these just board wipes that and that's what they do. They just wipe the entire board, right? It's not like the one-sided stuff or stuff you can play around and like break parity, that kind of thing. It's just you're just playing a board wipe because you're like, "Oh, I need to have this. Like when the game gets super late and no one's doing anything, let me just make it take an extra like hour or 2. Like, come on. Bro, take this out of your deck. You're so naughty. You're so naughty for playing this card. And this is just out of all the board wipes, this one's my least favorite because there was this one time that I played against it, and this dude was like played it, and he's like, "I don't have to reveal what I'm picking until after you guys like respond." And yes, that is correct. But man, he was just so like arrogant about it, and I'm like, oh, I hate this card because of that. So that's first on my list. What do you think, Adam?
I kind of agree with you. I honestly I didn't realize that we were putting the list in any sort of order. So for me there's no real order that my picks are in. But
Yeah.
like I, Austere Command is definitely in a weird place as a board wipe because it exists in decks because it can break parity to a degree because you can choose what you're hitting with it, which I think is
Yeah.
it's interesting. But it 9 times out of 10 when I see specifically Austere Command out, it's not some it's not asymmetrical. It's always symmetrical, and it's like most of the time these people that play a lot of board wipes, like they're not winning the game anyway.
Exactly.
I run very few board wipes in my decks personally. The only ones that I play are ones that are directly good in the deck. I only play them, obviously when they can be asymmetrical or when I can play them efficiently or protect my own things against them that I like. But even so, those board wipes are typically few and far between, and they have to be pretty good to make it in a deck, in my opinion. So I've never been hot on board wipes in general, but Austere Command specifically is one that seems like it just makes games take longer.
Yeah, that's my exact point too. If you're gonna play board wipes, play one that actually like synergizes with your deck in some
Hmm.
way. And 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 I kind of agree with like the point you were making. It's just most people when they play board wipes, it's because they're down and if they're really getting that like stomped, it's board wipe just gonna delay the inevitable probably, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like sometimes it's just take your L, move on to the next game. It's like and hey, that's not always the case, but whatever. What do you got
Mhm.
next for us, Adam?
I have one that I think might actually be a hot take. These are doublers. So the big one that I have is doubling season, because it hits everything. It hits tokens and counters. But any of the token doublers, the counter doublers, I think they suck. Um, they're so expensive for what they do. If I have 5 mana in a +1/+1 counters deck, I could think of other pieces that I would much rather put in the deck and be casting rather than spending 5 mana to do nothing unless you. The problem is you have to have things already going on. Like these doubling abilities, they have to resolve and then they have to stick around on the board because they're so expensive. Like you're probably not going to cast them the same turn that you're going to do something big. So people know what's coming. They're going to try to remove it because they know exactly how strong they are. And they just, I mean, like they're strong, but like I said, you have to have other things going on first. And I've never been a fan of them. They seem like they're way too slow. And then when they get removed, it's really feel bad because you go from such a high to such a low. And they're also, I mean, they're monetarily, they're very expensive. Like they're all over $25 a piece. Like, everybody's running them in their decks. They're super common. I'd much rather play something that synergizes with the deck. Like for example, in the Most Dangerous Gamer, I don't have any token doublers in there, even though my commander consistently puts +1/+1 counters on itself. The only one I have in there is Hardened Scales because that one is 1 mana and it does the same thing as all the token doublers because the 1/1 counters are going on the Most Dangerous Gamer one at a time. Like I know Hardened Scales is not as good as any of the doublers, but it's 1 mana and it's really strong. But but it's strong in the deck because it synergizes. I don't. You guys are probably gonna find on this naughty list that a lot of these cards are cards that people just shove in their decks. They don't necessarily always synergize, and yeah, the cards can be good when they synergize, but most of the time they don't. They're just generically good, and way too many people are playing them when they could be building a deck that synergizes more and is a lot stronger. What do you think, Thomas?
No, I honestly completely agree. You know that I play Azuri is one of my most played decks. It's one
Mm-hmm.
one counters. I didn't maybe like for a second I thought about a doubling season, but I'm like I don't really need it because I completely agree with what you were saying. Hardened Scales and another one too, Ozolith Shattered Spire. Not the Ozolith, but Ozolith Shattered Spire does basically the same thing. Feel so much better because at the mana cost, you can get them out early, and from experience, if you remember, I think there was a game we were playing in West Virginia in at the apartment, and I got one of those out super early, and it gets out of hand because in early game you're not doing those massive like counter like adding a lot of what I'm trying to say is not adding a lot of counters all at once. It's doing those little like one-offs, like add one counter and then add a counter, like all that, and then it really starts to pile up in the early game, and it sets you up for the later game. And once it gets to the later game, I feel like I have this big engine going with all these other smaller pieces. The token or the counter token doubling, whatever it is, it just doesn't really add as much. I'd rather sub that in for stuff that's cheaper, so that I can get more pieces out, and then it really snowballs from there. Is kind of my experience, and that's just the mana cost. Nevertheless, the actual price of these cards, if you want to actually buy the cards, it's just kind of ridiculous. Like what is doubling season? It's like $40 at least, something like that.
Yeah, the cheapest copy is 30.
30. So it's like $30 when you can just go and get a Hardened Scales for like a couple bucks. Ozolith for, if it even is $1, it might be less, maybe a couple bucks. It's like I feel like that's way better to go with, unless you really are doing something where you're just making a ton at once. I haven't played stuff like that, but that's just me. So I do like that. I do like that on the hitting our list.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say it's pretty naughty. That's a
naughty
card. All right. Speaking of, let's keep going down our list. My next card is, maybe one that's a little expected, but I think I have a good reason for putting it on here. This is going to be Pact of Negation, and my reason for putting this on the list is similar to what we were talking about with the board wipes, because you play a Pact of Negation, and on your turn you need to pay 5 mana, or else you lose the game. And so almost every time in my experience, whenever I've played this card or somebody else has played this card, it just kind of sets you up for failure. It's like you're delaying the inevitable again. It's like you're countering someone's win or something like that. And if someone else isn't just going to do it on top of that or whatnot, if it gets back to your turn, you have to pay, you're sinking 5 mana into this, and you're just stunting yourself. You can't do anything on your turn. Then you're passing, and then like you countered their win last game, or last turn, but now you don't have a pact. Like, what are you going to do this time, right? Mm-hmm. And you just dumped 5 mana into not losing the game. I don't like this card. Obviously it's more of like a CEDH. I wouldn't put it in a casual deck, but I've just steered away from it a little bit in CEDH, because like with how fast it is and how tight resources are, I don't like this card. It's like, if you're going to win, I don't think Pact of the Negation is the way to stop it, like effectively, because I think this was even something they talked about on Play to Win, is like, I'm not going to counter your win just for the person right after you to win. Like, I feel like it's only worth countering a win if you know that like you can win like right after or something like that. They put it like way better than I did just now. But that's where I'm at with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to say that the problem with Pact of Negation stems from when you play it wrong, because I'm not trying to insinuate that you're playing it wrong. But Pact of Negation, I think, reads differently than how it should be played. Like, people see it as a free counter spell, and it's not necessarily that. I think it's a protection piece. I think Pact of Negation should only be used to protect your win when you're going for it. If you're using it to disrupt someone else's win and you actually have to pay for the trigger later, that sucks. I think the only world where Pact of Negation is a good card is when you're just using it on your turn to stop an opponent's counterspell or an opponent's piece of interaction. It's only really good when you don't have to pay the upkeep trigger. So yeah, I'm totally with that. Like, if it makes it back to your turn, you have to pay 5 mana. You're basically doing nothing. It's like you just play an Arcane Denial at that point, or play any of the good 1 mana counter spells. There's so many of them now. Don't play Pact of Negation, and especially not in casual. I don't think.
I haven't seen it in casual, but you never know. Mm-hmm. All right, what do you got for us next?
So I'm sure people could see this one coming. My third naughty card of 2025 is Solemn Simulacrum. I hate this card so much that I'm going to rip one up live on camera while I talk about how terrible it is. I keep a deck box full of Solemn Simulacrums just so I can tear them up. I hate this card so much. 4 mana, for a tapped basic is terrible. 4 mana for a 2/2 is terrible. 4 mana for one card is terrible. I mean, let's think about this for a second. You're paying, so the going rate for a tapped land is 2 mana. So 2 mana to get a tapped basic, that's the going rate. 1 mana to draw a card, that's the going rate pretty much. So now you're paying 1 mana for a 2/2. I mean, that's not absurd. Like this card doesn't do anything super well, and I get it. It ramps you and draws you cards, and it does a few things, and you can blink it and recur it. But Solemn Simulacrum is good when you can synergize with it. I just don't think that it deserves nearly the inclusion rate that it has. I think the Command Zone, with all due respect, have done irreversible damage to the format by playing this card constantly. I think that's why everybody plays it. But Thomas, I know you don't exactly agree with me, but I think you can share some of the sentiment.
Yeah, I don't completely agree, because I mean, I think you did make a good point. The reason why I do like the card is because I was playing it in a blink deck, and I'm not completely sure. I honestly might have cut it, because now that it's a bracket 4, that might have been one of the cuts. I think that is. It was probably cut from the deck, but when it was a little bit lower power, it felt great, because blinking it is the easiest, most like efficient way to really make use of its ETB ability. In any other situation, I don't think I can disagree there. You're just getting a tap basic. I think there's better ways to do it. You don't really need it on like some 4 mana creature, and even then, ramp is really good. I think that there's good ramp pieces and there's bad ramp pieces. This is one of the bad ones, and you might as well just use a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 mana. If you're paying 4 mana, like just to ramp, if that's why that's in your deck, is like, oh, I'm gonna get a body and ramp. Like, why? Unless you're playing like artifacts, you need like artifact creatures, something like that. I mean, yeah, like you said, there's certain synergies where he fits in, but if you're just putting it in for that reason, like, yeah, you're naughty. That's what you are for putting that in your deck. So I can't argue. I knew you were gonna put that on here. I can't argue.
Yeah,
with the take.
you had to know.
So, yeah. So my next card, and this is one I was hoping that you don't have on your list. I think we're almost to the end, so I think I'm gonna get off scot-free on this one. And the one thing I'll say, I've been off this card. I don't think I've ever willingly put one of these in my deck. The only time I've played with it is when it came in like a pre-con, right? And I think people are starting to realize now that this card sucks. Because for the longest time, everyone was putting in their decks if they ran this color. I'll just tell you, Adam, it's a red card, because I'm going to make you guess what it is. Everyone was putting it in their decks. That is why it has a 30.2% inclusion rate. It's insane, and people are just now starting to realize that it's not actually a very good card. Can you guess what I'm talking about here?
Red card, high inclusion rate. I'm thinking Jessica's Will or Deflecting Swat.
No, not quite.
Because those came in pre-cons.
Comes in pre-cons.
But I was going to say,
those
cards
like
are
a lot of pre-cons.
I was going to say, but because those cards are just generically good. Red card, not good, in a lot of pre-cons. I'm immediately going to groan as soon as you say it.
Yeah. You ready? It's Chaos Warp.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Dude, I hate Chaos Warp. I just don't think it's a good card, because the big 3 mana, shuffling something away, I think is a pretty decent way of removing something.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you throw, obviously exiling it is the best. Putting it in the graveyard, they can get it back. One issue with Chaos Warp is you can't really target commanders, because they can actually just put it back to the command zone. But the problem is, if you target a commander with a Chaos Warp, they can put it in their command zone and they still get the flip. And that's the big reason why I don't like it, because you're giving them something for free, right? Like, they're flipping, well, if it's a permanent, right? But a lot of times a lot of times in my experience, they flipped into something good, and it's just like, well, great. We're just like, and we're just giving them something. And even then, it's like, if you're paying 3 mana, I feel like you can pay 3 mana to remove something without giving them something else for free, no matter what it is. Even if you're just giving them like an extra land, like, that's still not very good. Like, for 3 mana, you're just giving them another land, or at the minimum, whatever else it becomes. I've never liked this card, never willingly put it in a deck. and like I said, I think there's starting to be some talk that people don't like it. They're starting to realize it's not that good, and 30% is crazy. It's like same thing we said with the board wipes. It's like they see I'm playing red, I need to have a chaos warp. That's like the first thing I put in. I don't like that. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. I think Chaos Warp only really belongs in decks that are red and have maybe are either mono red or only one other color. The only reason that Chaos Warp is good is because it hits enchantments. Like that's really the only thing. And I agree with you. Like the vast majority of the time, you're probably destroying a creature. So just run any of the other stuff. But I think that a lot of people don't consider the fact that Chaos Warp is one of the few things that hits creatures in red that isn't damage based. And I think that kind of goes under the radar a little bit. People don't, I think, take that people take that at face value and don't really consider it. So I definitely agree with you that it is overplayed, but I personally don't necessarily hate it as much just because it's saved me a few times. You know, just having instant speed removal that hits everything is pretty nice. Like you can just like I don't love the idea of having to hold 3 mana open and cower behind, you know, singular removal spell, but it just is nice that it hits everything. But it definitely has been power crept. I think that a card that is underplayed in the place of it is Wear and Tear, because, you know, you can spend 3 mana to hit an artifact and an enchantment, or you can do either or, which I like. I think obviously Wear and Tear does require you to be playing white, but
Yeah.
you know, I can understand where you're coming from with this pick for sure.
I mean, you know, it's not the worst. I know I was probably making it sound like I think it's a terrible card. You know, it's not the worst, but that's just my point. Is I'm just kind of tired of seeing it.
It's definitely
I just think that it's overplayed. I think that there's just like other things you can do. You know, I don't know. But if you are in mono red, that's a good point. So, all right, what do you got for us next, Adam, on your naughty list?
I have a card that a lot of people like, and I even like it too, but it's just this card's on my naughty list for a different reason than the other ones, and it's Esper Sentinel. What?
You can't be putting... I thought about putting Esper Sentinel on my nice list, but then I'm like, nah, you can't do that.
The problem with Esper Sentinel...
I love that card. What the hell?
The thing is, Esper Sentinel needs to be a game changer. I'm just going to say this now. Esper Sentinel... The problem is not that it's too strong. I think it's a fairly balanced card, and if people would be a little more open to destroying it as soon as they see it and treating it more like a Rhystic Study, I think it wouldn't be so bad. But people normally just let it sit there because it doesn't draw that many. It's not like a Rhystic Study where it draws between 3 and 5 cards every turn rotation. You know, it draws 1 or 2. But then it sticks around for longer than a Rhystic Study does. And people don't pay for it like they might pay for a Rhystic Study. And so it might end up drawing you the same number of cards, which is crazy. But I don't think that this card belongs in bracket 2 decks. That's the big problem that I have. It definitely should be a game changer. It's way too powerful for bracket 1, bracket 2, and it's like it goes in every white deck, and there's no deck building cost to putting it in any deck that is running 5 colors. Like this goes in every. I mean, it's not like just mono white decks need this. I mean, any deck that can run it should be running it. That's how strong it is, and I think that's deserving of the game changer slot. And I think that if this is what you have to do to draw cards, and you have to be super basic and put a $45 card in your deck just to draw cards, you're on the naughty list. Naughty.
You know, the one thing that I'll say too about the Esper Sentinel, which I'm not going to say that I think it goes under the radar, but it's very important to say, is how easy it is to tutor that card up. Because it's an artifact creature, and it's 1 mana,
and it's small, and it's a 1/1
toughness. You know, like how many like tutors are cheap because they only tutor like a 1 mana thing, or like a 1 power, 1 toughness, or just tutor an artifact. Yeah, there really is just like a million ways to get this thing onto the battlefield, and this is one of the better things too. is it only cost one. So when you tutor it up, it's really if you only need one extra mana to get it on the board. So it is definitely it's a naughty card, but I'll say if playing Esper Sentinel was naughty, then I don't want to be nice.
That's fair.
And that might not be the first time I say that this episode. We'll see what I have. Not next, but last. So the next card, though, before we get to that I have on my naughty list, Adam, I think you're going to agree with me on this one, and you're going to see exactly where I'm going before I even say it. This is Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, for the simple reason being you know exactly what two cards are going right alongside him if he's in the deck. You want to say it for me? You want to say it for me, Adam?
Exquisite Blood and Sanguine Bond?
Yeah, and I think we just talked about this too.
We did.
Didn't we just talk about this the other episode or two ago?
Yep.
Man, it's just, if you're playing this, you're so naughty. Oh, you are so naughty for playing this card. And I don't usually see this at the helm of a commander deck. Luckily, they'll be, you'll see like the mono black decks, but they'll be playing something else at least. But he's in there. He's in there, and I wasn't gonna pick Sanguine Bond or Exquisite Blood because that was too easy. I picked Vito because he could be at the helm, and he also gives your creatures lifelink, and that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, I don't see people activate that super often. It's 5 mana, but it's crazy. It's crazy. So I just think if you're playing Vito, you're super naughty. If you're playing his two friends, his two favorite friends, Exquisite Blood, Sanguine Bond, you're very naughty. And I think that we should just stop with these life drain decks. I think life drain is very naughty. I think Aristocrats isn't naughty unless you put these cards in there. If you're playing Aristocrats with these cards, very naughty, very naughty. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I think there's a lot of commanders that go infinite out of the command zone with one card. But it's so easy to do it. You're in the colors to just make, some quick mana, with your rituals and paying life for it. And then you get it out, you get your commander out, and then you sneeze and it goes infinite. No, I totally get it. And you know exactly what's happening. And then when you interact with, when you counter their tutors or you interact with what they're doing, they get upset. It's like, well, when your deck only does one thing and that one thing is win the game, we can't just let you do that every game because you can't say that you want to do the thing when your thing is just winning, like just saying, okay, guys, the game's over. That's not a thing. I don't. Yeah. Naughty.
Yeah. Hey, pretty straightforward, pretty naughty. What do you got last on our naughty list here, Adam?
This one also, I'm sure, is pretty predictable by anybody that's been watching our channel for any amount of time. My last pick and arguably my naughtiest card is Commander's Sphere. Just because it says Commander in the name does not mean you have to put it in your Commander deck. 3 mana rocks are terrible. There is no reason to be playing a 3 mana rock besides maybe Bender's Waterskin. And Bender's Waterskin is only good in decks that really synergize with it. Like, oh, you could sacrifice it and draw a card. I don't care. It's terrible. If you're sacrificing your Commander's Sphere to draw a card, you're probably not winning the game anyway. And are we just going to ignore the fact that it's been power crept? I mean, there is an almost strictly better one printed in Final Fantasy that nobody plays, Blitzball. Like, the only reason that people play this card is because it's in precons and it says Commander in the name. Like, stop playing Commander's Sphere. If you want to win games, stop playing Commander's Sphere. Said what I said.
Look, I can't disagree with you because I don't put it in my decks. It's going to be very, very similar to what I said with the Solemn Simulacrum. It felt really good in my Blink deck, but the specific reason is because my Blink deck was Abdel Adrian, and so he wanted to exile rocks and bring them back to get the mana. So Commander Sphere was good. I want to say that I cut it because I think there might be 2, but I know for a fact that the one 3 mana rock that I am definitely on in that deck is Hierophant's Chalice, because that's one of the win cons. Because if I can infinitely blink it, I drain the table. So that is a 3 mana rock that is in the deck, and I think that I cut Commander's Sphere just because it was getting a little expensive. But again, when it was like a lower power, it felt really good. And you know, I think that the draw card, I it's hard because I want to disagree with you, but I can't, because I want to look at it and say, oh, the draw card is just a nice little bonus. Like if you got nothing else going on, sacrifice a draw card. But you do have a point. If you're in a place where you need to sacrifice your Commander Sphere to draw a card, it's probably not a very good place to be in. Like you're probably really desperate at that point.
Yeah,
And
and you're probably
trying
already
to
losing the
find
game
something.
because if you're playing Commander Sphere, like you're probably losing games anyway.
I mean, hey, I don't hate the card. Like in lower power, it's not the worst thing ever. But
Yeah,
it's kind of similar to what we were talking about with the diamonds, where it's like there are just better like there's so many rocks that you can find plenty that you can run that aren't Commander Sphere. Like talismans, run all the talismans first. Throw in maybe even the signets. I'm not a big fan. I thought about putting the signets on my list. I'm not the biggest fan of them anymore, but I would say you could run those instead. It's like there's not a whole lot of decks that I think need to have a Commander Sphere. They can have it, and I don't think it's the worst thing, but
hmm
you know that's just what I'll say. That's what I'll
yeah,
say. I'm not quite off the deep end as you. I do have an entire page in one of my binders that's only Commander Spheres, and that's a tribute to you, Adam. I know you remember that. Big fan of that. I think it's almost 2 pages now, actually.
yeah. I give my
I'm gonna
Commander
write it
Spheres away. I actually have a blanket made out of
Yeah.
Commander Spheres. I use them to fix holes in my ceiling. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to my final card and the last card on our combined naughty list. Now, this card, I'm gonna be fully transparent on this one. I found out that this thing existed today. I've never seen it before, but I was looking through some cards and I found it today, and I'm like, wow, this card is naughty and throwback, because I said it was going to come up again. If playing this card is naughty, then I don't want to be nice. And there's just something about this that seems really, really, really fun. So this is Naked Singularity. It's 5 colorless for an artifact with cumulative upkeep 3. Instead of their normal mana, planes produce a mountain. Or I'll just say planes produce red, islands produce green, swamps produce white, mountains produce blue, and forests produce black. So never seen someone play it before. The cumulative upkeep is disgusting, like 3 mana. But I don't know. There's just something about this thing. There's just something about this thing that's just so naughty, but it makes me want to be naughty too. I don't know. If that's Naked Singularity, Adam, I mean, what do you think? Have you ever came across this card before? What are you thinking on
What am
this
I
one?
looking at?
Yeah, yeah, the artwork too. It's something. It's like they're getting sucked into a black hole. And by the way, I want to say too, it has a 0.14% inclusion rate. It's high enough that it shows up on EDH rec higher than, some other cards. Obviously I can't think of one of those cards, they don't show up on the list, but that's nothing. There's 600 decks that are running this thing. Granted, it's a lot of like chaos decks, like Child
Well,
of
okay.
Alara, but
Because because it has the mana symbols in the text box, I'm pretty sure you can only play this in a 5-color deck.
correct, yeah.
So that,
Yeah, it's only a 5-color deck.
because this would be fun in a colorless deck where you can make a buttload of colorless mana.
Dude, I was thinking that too. Like as soon as I saw this, I'm like, yo, play this in like a colorless deck and just like screw with everyone else's stuff.
Yeah, because
But
it wouldn't affect
then
you.
yeah, I saw the symbols. I'm like, oh wait. But I don't know, because it's like it just doesn't really do anything. Like it just messes up all the lands, but like for what? Like it's like the definition of a chaos card. And it sucks too, because cumulative upkeep 3
Yeah, that's like
is
that's a lot of mana. Like you're screwing everybody else, but then eventually your cumulative upkeep is going to start screwing you.
yeah. This card is so naughty. But this is what I was saying earlier too, is there's a card that I kind of have on my list that I've always wanted to build, but I could never, like, I've never really like dove deep into it because I don't know where to start. And that's Omnath, Locus of All. So I got it in, what is it, March of the Machines, I think is the one. Yeah,
I think
March
that's
of
where
the
it came.
Machines.
Yeah.
It was the promo of like buying like a box. And it's a 5 mana commander, and it wants you to have, so if you lose unspent mana, it becomes black, and then it wants you to like look at the top card, and if there's like 3 or more colored symbols, you add those colors. And so the idea was, 3 colors, cast stuff. It would kind of work in that deck because the Omnath makes the colors you need to cast stuff, so you're not like kind of screwing yourself mixing things around. I don't know.
Well,
I
also,
might-
I guess if you're in 5 colors, it doesn't, it's not like you can't cast, like if you have a planes out, it's not like you can't cast things with red mana. Like if you're mono white, suddenly all your planes make red and you can't do anything with that mana. Where like 5
Yeah,
color,
it would be. Yeah, it would be super interesting because think about like the mana fixing is tough in 5, and I know this card's expensive, but let's just like assume that you had it on the field, and like one turn you want to play this color card, but then it's like, oh shoot, I don't have the other colors yet, but then you can like plan. So it's like, all right, this turn I'll have this color, and then I'll play Naked Singularity or something, and then next turn I'll be able to actually cast this thing I don't have the land for. I don't know, something weird. It's a naughty card. It's really naughty. So that's gonna round out our list. I don't know. I might try and throw it in something. We'll see. But with that, shall we move on to the nice list? Adam?
yeah, it's about time.
All right. How about here? I'll start us off on this one. I made you
Yeah.
do that last time. I made you go back to back, so I'll start this one. So my first card on my nice list. This is probably a weird one. I don't know if you would have like in a million years guessed that I was going to put this card on any list ever, Adam. But this is going to be Reassembling Skeleton. So there's just something about this card that I think it's just so wholesome. It's so nice, and it's just it's just a 2 mana 1/1 that you can just pay 2 and return it to the battlefield tapped. I mean, does the thing. People that watch the channel know that I don't play a whole lot of black. Graveyard is probably like the exact opposite of my wheelhouse when it comes to what I like to build and stuff like that. But Reassembling Skeleton, when I was playing Corvold, great card. Sacrifice it, bring it back. I mean, 2 mana to bring it back. It's not great. 2 mana for a 1/1. It's not the greatest rate, but that's what I think is just so wholesome about it. Like if you're playing Reassembling Skeleton, you're doing God's work. You really are. So that's why it's first on my nice list. What do you think, Adam?
I mean, that's interesting that you consider a combo piece a wholesome card, but
Well,
I mean, it's I mean, it does exactly what it says. I actually like cards a lot like Reassembling a Skeleton in limited environments because like having a blocker that you can just dump mana into to keep bringing back is kind of nice,
Yeah, if you have nothing else to do.
Yeah, there's cards like that have saved my butt time and time again because then you can suit them up with things and they just don't go away, and your opponents are hard pressed to, because like you just bury them in value because you can just keep reanimating the Reassembling Skeleton and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm on board with that. He's a nice guy.
And I'll say I always do forget that it's a combo piece, which is like so silly because when I went to like go and rebuild Corvold and try and make it better, which I gave up on, guys, you'll be proud of me that I did not continue with building Corvold again. I kept looking at that combo. I wouldn't be able to off the dome tell you what other cards are in it, but I do remember seeing it on the EDH site combos list. EDH rec site combos list. Anyway, Reassembling Skeleton is nice. You guys are nice if you're playing Reassembling Skeleton.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Adam?
Well, and real quick before you go to mine is that Reassembling Skeleton is not a 2-card combo piece. It's like you typically need
like
3 or 4
4
total
yeah.
pieces. So it's like you're doing God's work if you're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's
like
mana intensive too.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
To get it going.
it's telegraphed what you're doing. Like your opponents have plenty of ways to interact. Yeah, it's a very fair piece.
No, hold on. Wait, I'm gonna just because we were here. Okay, yeah. Just because I had to click it really quick. It's Pitiless Plunder
And a sound
and
outlet that
Ashnod's
makes at least 1
Altar.
mana. Yeah.
Yeah, or Phyrexian Altar, yeah.
Yeah, because then you need, either you make the infinite mana or
But then
you
you need
use the Phyrexian Altar, and then you need something with like ETB or Death. Yeah, so you need other pieces.
Yeah.
Typically.
So there's still. That's
Yeah.
one thing. That's one thing I don't love too about dude. Oh my god, I know. Little sidebar. The EDH rec, like combo page is really sweet, but sometimes it's really dumb because they're like, oh, this is like a 2-3 card combo, but it's not, because it's either what you just said, where you need another piece that they don't like. When you click into the combo, then it'll tell you, oh, you also need, something with these triggers, and then it's like, okay, great, so it's not actually these.
Well, it's an
many
infinite
cards.
combo.
Or,
it just doesn't necessarily result in something that directly wins you the game. Like it results in infinite mana, but it doesn't win you the game. Or it results because like you still need something to use the mana on. Or it results in infinite ETBs and death triggers. You just need those.
Yeah, a little misleading sometimes. And then sidebar to the sidebar is that website sucks on your phone. Never ever visit that on your phone, because you can't open the stuff in new tabs, first of all. So you have to like click into it, and then when you go back, takes you to the very beginning. And I don't know if you've seen this too. How many times are you just scrolling through and then all of a sudden the page refreshes? And it
then
does
you're
that
back
all
to the
the
top.
time. All the fucking time. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, actually. I'm gonna go as far as to say it's ridiculous. Okay. Enough on reassembling skeleton. Let's move on. What you got for us, Adam?
So this is a card that you have never seen, Thomas. You will never see it coming. And I'm just going to start this by saying, do you like Ancestral Recall? Do you like drawing 3 cards for 1 mana? Let me introduce you to Shared Discovery. This is a 1 mana sorcery that's only been printed in Rise of the Eldrazi, and it reads, as an additional cost to cast Shared Discovery, tap 4 untapped creatures you control. Draw 3 cards. Most decks have 4 incidental creatures laying around. 1 mana draw 3 is so nuts. This is a common. It's only been printed once. It's currently 12 cents. This card is freaking sweet. I am going to be jamming this in any deck that I can from this point forward. I found it in a bulk box like a few months ago, and it's such a good card. I love it. I love it. I love it. Ancestral Recall is always good. And it is a sorcery, so it's not quite Ancestral Recall. I get it, but come on. This is a good card. This deserves to be on the nice list.
I didn't know we had Camila Cabello on the call. I love
What
it.
are we
I love it. I love it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Dude, this card's awesome.
But, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that card about to get power crept? Didn't we just talk
Sort
about
of.
a card that's
Sort of.
kind of, yeah.
So, well, the
lore one,
yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but
I think unexpected assistance or something.
sounds about right. Yeah,
Unexpected
sounds
assistance.
pretty good.
Yeah, unexpected assistance is an instant, which so the convoke, you can tap 4 creatures and pay 1 mana, so you get the same rate, but you have to discard a card.
Yeah, you have to discard a card. Well, but here's my thing though, is that with the one that you were just talking about, what is it? You said Kindred Discovery is what it's called?
Shared Discovery.
Shared Discovery, sorry. So you have to tap 4 creatures and then pay the 1 mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like similar rate, because the Lorwyn one is 5 mana and you can convoke, right?
Yeah, it's the same rate,
So
but less flexible.
If you tap 4, but less flexible. I think it's more flexible because the one that because you have to tap 4 creatures to play that one. Right?
Yeah, I'm saying
Plus
the new
like a
one
mana.
is more flexible.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to say. So, seems pretty good. I would say, if I had a choice, there's no reason you can't play both, obviously, but definitely the newer one, because tapping 4 creatures is a hefty cost. Is that an instant or a sorcery?
Sorcery.
Sorcery. And the new one's a sorcery, I'm guessing. No, the new one's an instant.
New one's an instant.
New one's an instant. Holy shit. Dude, I'm sorry. Like, I know
It's
that
so
like, I know that
busted.
you were super. I know you were super high on this card that the Shared Discovery, but dude, the more like now I'm thinking about that other one, I'm like, oh, it's just making this one look bad.
But you have to discard a card. You're only drawing 2.
So you're drawing 3.
But you're only going up 2 cards.
Well, I guess, but it's just okay. But you're paying the 1 mana. You have to tap 4 creatures at sorcery speed. So I just don't love that, because you have to have 4 creatures. And you have to tap them. It's not like you can wait until right before your turn.
But then you get an Ancestral Recall if you do. A card so good it's banned.
I guess.
Bro, this card is nice. You can't deny that.
They're both okay. I think they're both good in their own. No, that card is nice. They're both good in their own regard.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you can't say unexpected assistance is good and then shared discovery is bad in the same breath.
I wasn't saying that it was bad. I'm just saying, like, the more that I think about, I don't know, why am I we said it a million times, I keep forgetting the names of both of these cards. The more I think about the new one, I'm like, dang, that card is so good. That's
We
it.
have to
That's what's
discard a card. Okay, whatever.
I don't care.
You go.
Okay. Hey, you might have some bad things to say about my card. You actually already knew this one on my list. This is Entomb, and it's so funny that like I just picked two black cards in a row, considering I am not a black player. But I think Entomb is one of the more wholesome out of all the tutors. I know, maybe people will be able to put a tutor on the nice list, but you have your tutors that are way too expensive. So Grim Tutor is 3 mana. It's on it's a fringe. It's on the edge. Then you have your really bad one, which is Diabolic Tutor. Wait, yes, Diabolic Tutor, the 4 mana one.
Yeah,
and that card just kind of sucks. It's like 4 mana to tutor up a card. Ugh. But most tutors and gamble I love too. Because you're taking a gamble. Not that we promote gambling on this.
We don't promote gambling on this
show.
YouTube channel.
But
and on the
good
Spotify
card. Yeah, but Entomb I really do love because obviously it feels amazing in my first sliver deck because I'm entombing a Squee or an Eternal Scourge, one that I can not Eternal Scourge. Squee is the one that I would entomb because you can cast it from the graveyard, and so that's a good place for it. If you're playing a graveyard deck, it's obviously kind of broken. You're just throwing something in your graveyard. But, even then, it's like, if you're not playing like a full-on graveyard deck, but you have ways of like recursion, it's like, I don't want to call it tutor on a hard mode, but it feels like it's a slightly more balanced tutor. Because, you're putting it in your graveyard, you got to find a way to get it back. I don't know. I think it's like for a tutor, I think it's wholesome. I like it. The rate is really good. It feels amazing to play in the right deck. And I mean, I guess I haven't seen a lot of people play it, but I wouldn't even be that mad about it. I don't know. I just think from my experience in playing it, the rate is really good. It feels like a great card. What do you think, Adam?
No, I agree. And I think it's really good because it synergizes in a lot of decks where you necessarily, like, you talk about, tutoring Squee into the graveyard because you can cast it, but there's also, but obviously Squee is just as good in your hand or on the battlefield or whatever. But,
yeah.
Entomb also just, there are pieces that it synergizes directly with, like, the World Gorger Dragon combo. There's so many things that specifically putting them into the graveyard is good. Like, putting a Dakmor Salvage into the graveyard so you can dredge with it. And like, oftentimes tutoring straight to the graveyard in the right kind of deck is better than tutoring it to your hand. So it's, like better than a Vampiric Tutor. So it's a really good card, I think. And even when you're not synergizing with the combo where you don't necessarily want it in the graveyard, I think it's still just really good because you can recur stuff, you can get it back from your graveyard, and it's like you're doing a workaround so you don't have to play Vampiric Tutor and have your playgroup feel bad. So I'm all in on it.
Might feel weird to put it on a nice list, but hey, it's on ours. So what do you got for us next, Adam, on a nice list?
Again, this is a card that feels super good anytime I play it. It's a reasonably budget card. It's been in a few pre-cons now. It's been printed a bunch, so it's pretty easy to get your hands on. You can probably even find it in a bulk box and get it for even less than what it goes for. It's Curse of Opulence. It's a 1 red mana or a curse with Enchant Player, and whenever Enchanted Player is attacked, create a gold token. Each opponent attacking that player does the same. And a gold token is basically a treasure token that you don't have to tap. It's an artifact that you sacrifice to add 1 mana of any color. This card fills so many, it fills that 1 mana slot in so many red decks. Like, oftentimes, I think a lot of people like to play Ragavan in that 1 mana slot in your red decks, have a turn 1 play, and Ragavan is great. But if you want a card that doesn't cost $40 and one card that'll probably make you more money make you more mana than Ragavan, it just won't exile you cards from people's libraries, it's Curse of Opulence. Like, in so many decks that don't have consistent turn 1 plays, this card is a no-brainer. It does help your opponents out too. Sometimes they'll, sometimes you can let them attack you or attack that player, and they make their own gold, but you also get one. It's just the card is just so good. It passively makes you mana when your opponents attack this player. It also incentivizes them, so you can use it as a bit of threat assessment early on in the game. I mean, even when you play this card on turn 6, it's still going to make you mana. And sometimes this card can even be stronger on turn 6, because then your opponents are more likely to hit the opponent that you curse with their big things, just so that they can make a gold token. Like, yeah, the mana doesn't matter all that much more on turn 6, but it still can force your opponents, or it can push your opponents to do other things and send their threats elsewhere, which I love. It's just, I mean, 1 mana, it's just the amount of and it accelerates games too. I mean, just the amount of impact this card has on the game at 1 mana in a color that typically doesn't have 1 mana or turn 1 plays. So good. So good.
Yeah, I love that pick. I'll be honest, because I've liked that card. I think I've put it in like 1 deck in my time. It probably should be going in more. I didn't know it was 1 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Would have, like, when you first said it, I was picturing in my head, because I know the art too. It's like that dude with like all the gold and stuff. Kind of looks like the red version of Vito.
Yeah.
But
well, this
funny,
guy
but...
is actually, I forget who this guy. I think this guy's like a planeswalker or something. Like, this guy he's on a bunch of curses, and he this guy Kieran Ganner like puts this guy on a bunch of different art. Let me pull this up.
Yeah, I was picturing. So I would have thought that it was a 2 mana card. I'll be honest. And like you said, it was 1 mana. I'm like, what?
It's so good.
That's crazy. And I will say, it probably doesn't feel like you're super nice if you're the player that's getting cursed by it. But it's crazy how much work it does for you, because you get, like, it's insane that for 1 mana you get gold tokens when other people are attacking, which is just insane. Like, it feels like it should just be enchant a player. Whenever that player is attacked, the person that's attacking them makes a gold. Like, that's what it feels like it should be. But the fact that you get the gold tokens when anybody attacks him is nuts. It's pretty nuts. So I don't think you can get a better rate than that. And yeah, like I said, probably doesn't feel super great if you're the one getting cursed, but maybe you can kind of use that in a little bit of a political thing too, saying, hey, don't attack me because you're just going to help him too. Like, just attack him. I don't know, something like that. Maybe a little bit of leverage there. And like you said, later in the game, when the mana probably doesn't matter quite as much, less incentive there. So yeah, I do like that pick though. I think it definitely should be going in more decks, especially at like lower brackets. 'Cause I've never even thought about putting Ragavan in like a bracket 3 or less, but that's something I totally would, because I don't think you really lose anything from it.
So the gentleman on these curses. So this guy has appeared on Curse of Opulence, apparently Curse of Vitality, and Curse of Disturbance. He has been dubbed by the community as the unluckiest planeswalker. Apparently, he's a recurring character cursed by the warlock Lind. And I don't know if you've ever seen Kieran in person, but I think, he looks like him, and I'm pretty sure that it's like supposed to be a self-portrait. So yeah, so it's the same guy on all these curses, which I think is pretty funny. But like, he's always being cursed, so it's like he's the unluckiest planeswalker.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I play a couple curses in Zedru. I wouldn't have like went out and thought like, oh, is that the same guy? But does, like, now it's starting to click. Now it's all starting to click. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah. Or no, it's your turn again. We're still talking about Curse of Opulence.
Yeah, I think it's my turn. Yeah, that was Curse of Opulence. Okay, so
sorry,
my next card...
It's just so nice. I just want to keep talking about it.
It is a nice card.
Very nice.
So my next card is... my next card might be a little bit of a surprise for you, Adam, that I have it on my list. But I have a really... I think I have a good reason, and I can make a really good case for why I think this is a nice card. And it's so funny. It's so, honestly, so funny that you put Esper Sentinel on your naughty list.
Uh-oh.
Because this my nice card is going to be Mystic Remora. Now here's the reason why, because I was thinking, like I said, I'm like, I could put Esper Sentinel on my nice list because I like it, but that's not a good reason. It's technically, let's be honest, it's not a nice card, but Mystic Remora is like the nice version of Esper Sentinel because it's balanced by the cumulative upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you now. Most of the time, sometimes you'll see it in the lower brackets. Most of the time, you see it in like bracket 5, or CDH. And in a lot of the CDH games that I've played, I've seen people play Mystic Remoras and had like nothing going on, right? So they play Mystic Remora, get a little bit of value first couple turns, still have nothing, have to play have to pay the cumulative upkeep, and then can't do anything on their turn, but they're just building resources. So it kind of takes them out for a little bit. Then they come back and they have the resources, so maybe it comes back to bite you. But dude, I like Mystic Remora. Granted, you can't really pay for it like you can with an Esper Sentinel. So like that, the give and take there, where it's harder to pay for it when someone gets the trigger off. It's harder to pay for that to stop them, but it comes back to bite them because of the cumulative upkeep. They can't keep it forever, and usually you don't see it last more than like 2 turns, because at that point it's really starting to take a toll on your board, sticking around. And if you have it for 3 turns and have like nothing to do and feel like you need to keep it, then maybe you should go back and reassess the rest of the cards in your deck. I don't know. Like if you are getting draws off of it and you still have nothing after 3 turns, like then we have some other problems here. But that is the reason why I put it on my nice list, because I think it's like the nice version of Esper Sentinel, because like exactly the reason why you said that Esper Sentinel was so naughty that it just sticks around forever and people don't really pay enough attention to it. This one does not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like it. I mean, if we're talking, we're considering casual commander, I think Mystic Remora is an incredibly fair card. Even though it's an incredibly powerful draw engine, you can drop it turn 1 and really go crazy. In casual commander, people typically aren't playing like 0 mana artifacts. They're not playing, super, super efficient ramp. The best card that they're going to have for ramp is a Soul Ring, and that's still hard to cast when you have Mystic Remora out if you miss a land drop or whatever. So like if you drop a Mystic Remora turn 1, your turn 2, you're effectively operating with 1 mana if you pay for the Remora. And
if you have really, a land, like if you, some people take a risk and they just take a 1-lander because they have a Mystic Remora and say, I'm going to draw more lands.
And like you might not even draw any card. I think a Mystic Remora on turn 2 is so much better than a Mystic Remora on turn 1, just because sometimes people don't even play, unless you're in like seat 4 where everybody's turn 2 is after your turn 1. But like the vast majority of the time, unless you're playing these these incredibly mana efficient rocks, you're not going to be able to progress your board state. You're just going to be paying for the Mystic Remora, discarding the hand size, and sculpting a really good hand. And sometimes Mystic Remora feels bad because, like you said, you take a riskier hand for it. So I think it's incredibly balanced, especially in casual, just because it's so hard to get ahead. Like you're sacrificing your ability to actually do things, and you're using that to catapult you into drawing, almost 10 cards probably, but you're paying for it.
Yeah.
You're not like, you're going to be behind on actual game actions taken on your opponents. Like you're going to be starting at turn 3 or 4 with a significantly better hand, but you're still going to be starting at turn 3 or 4. But yeah, very balanced, very nice.
The other thing too, last thing I'll say, it's an $8 card, which, it's not like crazy budget, but like that's not like Esper Sentinel is like $40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $8, not the worst price tag on that one. So that's on my list. What do you got for us next, Adam?
Speaking of budget, this is a card that comes very near and dear to a gentleman in the community named the Commander's Quarters. This is his favorite. I mean, I haven't watched his stuff in a little while, but this was always one of his favorite cards. He put it in pretty much every budget deck that he could. It's Wayfarer's Bauble. This is a 1-mana artifact that you can pay 2 and sacrifice to put a basic onto the battlefield tapped. Now, this card, is good in a lot of the same ways that Curse of Opulence is. This basically this gives you a turn 1 play that you can get. It's like it's almost having like another talisman in your deck. Like obviously it's not as good because the land comes in tapped, and I understand that, but the land typically won't be disrupted. Nobody's gonna ever take a Wayfarer's Bauble. No one's ever gonna waste their removal on this card, and it's just nice that you don't have a turn 1 play. You can play this, and then turn 2 you can find a basic tapped, and then turn 3 you've got 4 mana to work with. You can recur it and do other things with it. I mean, I've had games where I've used a Goblin Engineer to turn token artifacts into Wayfarer, sacrifice the token artifact, get the Wayfarer's Bauble back, and sacrifice that for a land. Like you can do tricky things with this card too. I just like that it's a ramp spell that you can put in your deck that might be in white or something. You don't have a whole lot of turn 1 ramp plays, and I like this card. I think this card is a little bit underplayed, especially with how cheap and readily available it is.
Yeah, I won't say too much about this one. I'm not the biggest fan personally. It's not one that I usually put in my decks just because a little expensive. I feel like I'll just put some other cheaper piece in there. But hey, it's not to take away from what it's doing. It is a good card. It's nice, and I think this one is, out of honestly everything that we've talked about today, is probably like one of the definition of a nice card. Like if you're putting this in your deck, like you're nice.
You're probably nice.
You're really nice for doing that. Yeah. All right. So my next card up on the nice list is last one that I put on here. It's Garth One Eye, and I don't really have a great reason for putting it on the list. There's just something about him. I just feel is like really nice. Playing some nice cards. I mean, Black Lotus maybe isn't as nice, but Shivan Dragon, that's a nice card. Like Regrowth, Disenchant, these are nice cards.
Yeah.
He comes packaged with some nice cards, a little Garth One Eye. I don't know. Just something about him that is just really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's also fair because you have to actually pay for the cards that you're creating with him. So yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice guy.
I don't know too much to say.
Nice
There's honestly
cards.
not so much to say. It's just Garth is nice. Every time I've seen someone play him, like watch like a video online, I think they did it on Command Zone or something. They played him. I'm like, oh, nice.
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 So yeah, Garth One-Eyed. That's my next one. What do you got up? What do you got up for us, Adam?
My next one is another cycle. Sorry, I've been taking way more cards than I need to, but it's the Painlands. I mean, the Painlands are, I know the name pain is in the name, and I get, not always nice, but these lands have always been there for me. They're all like 30 cents. Like the whole cycle is worth like 30 cents a piece. And I think people discount the fact that it taps for colorless. So these kinds of lands open you up to playing things like Null Elemental Blast and things that you have to play use specifically colorless mana for. And the damage is incidental. I maybe use the actual pain part of the land 2 or 3 times a game, even in a long-term game. I just the pain lands, they like I said, they've always those lands have always been there for me. Anytime you need a dual land that always comes in untapped, yeah, pain lands, very very nice.
No, I'm with it, dude. Those are genuinely probably my favorite lands. Auto include in almost every deck that I'm making when it's casual, like hands down. And same thing with what you said. It's like you don't even really have to use the pain. There's been games I've gotten away with just never using the pain part of it, and if that, like maybe twice. And it's funny because I think you're the one that talked me out of this. If I'm not mistaken, they're called the filter lands, the one that like you pay a colorless.
The signet lands, basically, yeah.
Yeah, those things suck. I used to think those were good, and then I realized that those are terrible. So, boo. What is it? Is it filter lands? I think that's what they're called. They should just be called signet lands.
Signet lands would be good because there are other filter lands.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we're starting a new thing. These are the signet lands, and they suck. Boo signet lands, honorary naughty card. If you're playing signet lands, you're naughty. If you're playing pain lands, you're nice.
I don't hate signet lands all that much personally, but that's okay.
No, but they're naughty. Are the signet lands. All right.
If you're playing on a budget, they're not naughty.
Okay, yeah, I guess. If you're really on a budget, fine. But my last card on our nice list Now, Adam, I know that you love when I get you to guess cards. I'm going to do it one more time. I picked a wheel. Can you guess which wheel I chose above all the rest as my nice wheel?
Nice wheel. Wheel of Misfortune.
You are exactly right. Wheel of Misfortune. Because I genuinely think this is like such a nice card, because if you don't want a wheel, you don't have to wheel. So, and that's honestly simply it. Wheeling is amazing. If you don't want a wheel, you just don't have to. And, you know, pick a number. If you pick the highest number, you know, you'll take some damage, but you know, you're wheeling, and it's, you know, 3 mana, like that's the going rate for a wheel. But like, that's it. It's just, if you don't want a wheel, you don't have to. This card is nice. This card is so nice. And it's so funny because Wheel of Fortune is the naughty one. Wheel of Fortune is naughty, but Wheel of Misfortune is the nice one. It's so backwards. But guys, we're here to say it now. Wheel of Misfortune. This card is nice. You have anything else, Adam, to say? I mean, I love this card. I've been so high on it recently.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
nice.
All
card.
right, let's round out our list. What do you got for us last?
This is another card that is that kind of goes against the spirit of being nice, but it's Seance Board. This is a 2-mana mana rock with Morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, put a soul counter on Seance Board, and you can tap it to add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of soul counters on Seance Board. Spend this mana only to cast instant, sorcery, demon, or spirit spells. The demon and spirit spells, like, you know, obviously if you're in a demon deck, this card is freaking awesome. It's an auto include. But instants and sorceries, a mana rock that just taps for a buttload of mana. How many creatures just incidentally die? Like, you don't even have to be running heavy removal for this card to be stupidly good. Like, yeah. I mean, I've had games where this card taps for like 15 mana. Like this, I mean, and it's 61 cents. I mean, it's only been printed in Duskmourn, which I know that is, you know, that's kind of a downside. It might be hard to find every now and then, but it's so cheap. Like, oh my god, this card is so good. In any sort of Spellslinger deck for instants and sorceries, this card is like one of the nicest mana rocks I've ever played in those kinds of decks.
Yeah, that's crazy. I honestly don't even think I knew that card existed, and it feels like it probably goes under the radar in most games.
It definitely does.
reminded me of Dragon's Horde. That's a card that I've always loved. It's the red one where you tap it to put like Horde counter, whatever it is, some kind of counter, and then you can sacrifice it and then make all this mana. But that sounds even better, right? Because you don't have to sacrifice it. It just taps for all that. So that's crazy.
Yeah, even if this card starts tapping for 2 or 3 mana, it's already busted. I mean, imagine a talisman that taps for 2 or 3 mana 2 turns after. Like, it's
crazy,
insane. It is an insane card. It is being criminally underplayed. No,
genuinely, because like I said, I don't think I've ever even heard of it. And Duskmourn, shout out to Duskmourn. Yo, that's a really cool set. That was genuinely such a cool set. Some cool stuff in there. So always surprises me. Well, I think that'll do it for our naughty and nice list for the 2025 season. Adam, I mean, do you have anything else to add? Any surprises? Anything you want to say before we clock out on this one?
No, I think we're all good. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks so much for watching our Christmas special.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy your holiday. Thank you. If there was anything else, you know, that you thought that we got wrong or anything, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And I think we can also take this time to say, Adam, we're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you next week. Special guests, so stay tuned because next week Adam will be out, but somebody else will be in, and we have a very fun one planned. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, Adam. We do have an idea, but
all right.
You're gonna have to watch to see. It's gonna be cool. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're getting super close to the giveaway thing.
Yeah,
too.
we are.
I have to check what the number is. We are getting close.
Yeah,
so,
we're in the 90s on all of our socials.
Yeah, tell your friends. Get us up there. Can't wait to give that away. It'll be like a Christmas gift, or like a New Year. Open the New Year with a new gift. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you we'll see you next year. Actually, I think we can say that now. We will see you guys next year.
Later.